Hey everybody. So this week we got some great news from, at least if you're a church here in Singapore, from MCCY, which basically meant that we don't have restrictions on group sizes and unvaccinated individuals can attend church again. Those are big things. And so I know a lot of people are kind of thinking to themselves, well, maybe this means that we get to have that big return to, pre-pandemic services, and we can get rid of a lot of that stuff we were doing before. We can ditch the live streams. We can, get rid of Zoom and all of those things. And yeah, maybe there are quite a few of those things that you do get to get rid of. But there's one word of caution that I would give here, and that is don't go back to using attendance at your service as the key indicator of your church's health. Is it an indication of your church's health? Sure. But, I've been a minister for more than 20 years now. And I know tons of stories about, you meet somebody that had been going to church for 50 years, and then all of a sudden one day, a message just hits them and they realize, I wasn't a Christian this whole time. I was not actually following Christ. And they have a conversion experience, despite having attended very faithfully and regularly. I've seen pastors with similar stories where they were actually pastors for like a couple decades, and then all of a sudden, similar kind of thing. So we need to kind of keep in mind that attending does not automatically mean that you have placed your allegiance in Christ, that you are a disciple of Christ. And so I want to encourage you to keep watching for indications of growth as a disciple within your congregation, not just how many people are attending. So, what are some examples that we could potentially look at? Here's just a few examples. One, involvement in a small group or care group, cell group, whatever you call it at your church. If you have some sort of smaller groups that you send people to, that they kind of meet and do studies together or pray together or things like that, you want to be able to kind of track, like, are people getting involved in these, and are they regularly attending those? Because those are a lot more personal. They're a lot more involved, and you'll probably see a lot more growth because it's tighter knit. Other things, joining your Christian ed courses, whether that's like, study of Job, or maybe it's an Alpha course, or maybe it's some kind of Christianity explored, whatever it is that you're kind of using to kind of help progress people along that track of discipleship via like a course, even if it's a Saddleback style 101, 201, 301, 401 kind of scenario. These are great things to kind of watch for and track and see, are people kind of moving along? Like I said, it's that may not be 100% indicator. It could end up being just like that guy who was a minister who 20 years later, really realized, oh wait, I never actually became a Christian. So, watch for that. But, if you're starting to take all of these factors in aggregate, it does show some movement and some progression, at least for most of the people that are going to be in your congregation. Volunteering in ministry, right? So if they're getting involved in the children's ministry, the youth ministry, hospitality, greeters, if they decide to lead a cell group, small group, well, like I said, whatever you're calling it, that's a good indicator that they're progressing, that they're moving along, that they're going from kind of that come and follow me stage through, let's do ministry together, up to that point where hopefully they're also becoming a disciple that makes more disciples. What else? Baptisms, right? Baptism is a huge one. If people are coming out and making that decision and getting baptized, that something's healthy in your church. That something's going right. And finally, this one can be a little tricky, but giving. So if you've got people that are regularly giving, that's a good indication that yes, people are involved. Yes, people are kind of have that heart change, that they're doing those things that a Christian does, that they're willing to kind of set aside materialism and say, yeah, I want to put Christ first. I want to follow him, and I'm willing to give and not kind of hoard. So this week, I just want to encourage you guys and even challenge you guys to find some indicators that you can use in your church of discipleship, right? Of growth for Christians. And, use things like your church management system to track that. If you don't have a church management system right now, feel free to drop a message below or to contact me, and I'll help you give you a few recommendations at least. All right, that's it for this video. Do me a favor, click below, do the like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next week.